and welcome to this tutorial. So we're learning slicing through list today. Okay, we're learning how to slice through a list. So previously we learned how to display a whole list. Okay, so we have list and names. So we have Grace, we have Glory. All right. We have iron. Let me use anything. We have peace. All right, so these are the names we have. So we want to slice through this list. Okay, we learned about how to access them by indexing: index 0, index 1, index 2, and we also learned how to use the join string method to kind of take out the square brackets and the commas in between and every other thing. So we're learning how to slice through the list, meaning how to access more than one value. Okay, now we can access more than one value just like this by printing the names and indicating index 0, okay, and printing names again indicating index 1, and printing names and indicating index 2. But this is kind of a whole lot of code for me. All right, it's printing something else again. So let me come to run and slicing list. Okay, so it will print each and every one of them, but this is so much a code for me. Okay, so we want to shorten it down, so we use what is called slicing. So we are slicing through the list. So all we need to do is just to write down one name only once, the name of the list, bring in the square bracket and identifier from which part to where do we want to end it up. So we want to slice from, let me show you another technique. Okay, so if we bring the square brackets and we indicate a semicolon here, so before the semicolon is where we want to start from, and after the semicolon is where we want to end, but the end will not be displayed. Okay, so if we leave it as such, names and square brackets with semicolon is the same thing as printing everything. It's the same thing as this, having names and opening the brackets. It to print to print all the details in the list. Okay, so let's try it and see. There is an error somewhere. All right, names. We are not slicing, so there is no need for the square brackets. Okay, so it's the same thing. So meaning that if you bring names, square brackets, and you bring this kind of colon in between, meaning that we are displaying everything from the beginning to the end, is the same as just printing the names. So if you want to slice in, what the slicing does is the first letter or the first number, the first index that comes before this one, the first index that comes before the colon, is what will be included as the first one we want to display. So we want to slice from index 0 to perhaps this index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we want to slice to 4. Okay, now this is what will happen. The first index, which is 0, meaning 0 will be included, so the beginning index in every slice will be included in the display, but the end of every slice will not be included in the display. Okay, so it will only print Prince, Anna, Gladys, and Glory. It will leave 4. It will leave the index 4. So if we want to print to index 4, then we have to indicate it as index 5. So it will exit 5 and print to 4. So let's display it and see. So it prints everything apart from index 4. All right, so the beginning index, which comes before the colon, will be displayed, and it will run through till the value before the last index we have identified. So this is how it basically works. But if you want to print everything, maybe from index 1, you want to skip index 0. Okay, you want to print from index 1 to the last index, so we indicate it this way, index 1, and we don't indicate any value at the last index, so meaning it will print everything including the last one. So it will start from Anna because we've indicated starts from index 1, and this is index 0, and it will end at peace. Okay, just because we didn't specify that end at the last one. And you know, if you bring -1, it will print anything apart from peace. So that is how it works, because -1 will be excluded and -1 is the last one. Alright, so this is the basic thing of how I want to slice through a list. So in slicing through a list, know that you just have to bring your colon, and what comes before the colon is where you want to start from, and what goes at the end of the colon is where you want to end, but that will not be displayed in your display. So let's add something. So let's name a variable, say user details. This is actually a list. Okay, so user details. So we have declared a list, but we've not put in any value. We want to receive user details and add it inside the list. So we already know how to receive it. So we go user details dot append. There's a new trick. User details dot append, and we go like input, okay, and we say enter your full name. All right, so this is how it works. What are they trying to tell us here? List creation could be okay, no problem with that. All right, so we have user details, so we call the list because this is the only way. Now this is different from a variable. If a variable would have done username is equal to input, all those kind of procedure, but we're not doing it that way here. So with this, we give the name of the list dot append, which is the only way we can add something to the list. Then after, we bring the input function, which is the only way the user can enter something, and we display a message to the user. So anything that the input function will receive will be able to be appended inside the list. Okay, so let's go. So if the user types prints, so oh sorry, I did a mistake. Let's try to print the user details then, so we see whether it is added or not. So prints, so meaning prints has been added to the list. So as much as we can add, that will be how it works. So anything we try to add, so let's say user details dot append input, enter your age. Okay, so user details dot append, and we say input, enter your class. Okay, so all these things will be stored inside the list because we are appending each one of them. So enter your name, prints, enter your age 97, and enter your class as the first class. Okay, I didn't bring the column for the class, but so everything will be inputted into that. So you realize this is simple. If we're dealing with a variable, we would have declared variables for each one of them, but we eventually just have one list. So if you want to access them, and we say print user details index 0 to work, print user details index 1, all those things will work. Okay, so let's print index 0 and see what will happen. So we have print, we have age, and we have first class. Alright, so that is it. So it prints index 0 after printing everything. So this is eventually how to deal with all the stuff, and we can use the join as well, which we've already studied, to say user details, and we delete this one. So we just have to bring the comma to separate them. So that is it. Age and class. Right, so this is it. It prints everything and separates them and takes out the square bracket. If you don't really understand this join method, watch the previous tutorial on list, and this is about slicing list. So we've learned how to slice a list and how to receive a user detail and embed it into a list. So thanks for viewing, and just subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so you get updates on every course I give, and thanks for watching.